Hey, welcome. Today, we're diving into a philosophy that can take a factory from a state of, well, constant chaos into a place of incredible precision and control. We're talking about total productive maintenance, or TPM for short, and it is a complete game changer.
But let's start with a really simple, almost kind of crazy question. What if a machine just never broke down? I mean, really think about that. A world with zero surprise stoppages, no emergency phone calls, no scrambling for parts. It sounds like a fantasy, right? But striving for that ideal, that's the absolute core of what TPM is all about.
You see, most places operate in one of two worlds. There's the reactive world, and I bet we all know this one. It's the world of firefighting, constant alarms, stressed out teams, that feeling of just lurching from one crisis to the next. But then there's the proactive world, a place of calm, of control, of prevention. The entire goal of TPM is to build a permanent bridge from that first world to the second.
Before we can build that bridge, though, we have to understand the trap we're trying to escape. And it is a trap. It's called the reactive trap. And its true cost? Well, it goes way beyond just the price of a broken part.
And this, right here, gets to the heart of the problem. It's all about mindset. In a reactive world, maintenance isn't a strategy for success. It's just a line item on the budget, a cost you're supposed to minimize. The entire maintenance department is built to respond to failure, which, if you think about it, basically guarantees that failures will keep happening. It's a total self-fulfilling prophecy of chaos.
So how in the world do you break that cycle? Well, you do it by flipping your entire perspective on its head. You stop accepting failure as just normal, and you start chasing a philosophy of perfection. And this is where we officially introduce total productive maintenance.
TPM isn't just another program you roll out. It's a deep cultural philosophy. It was pioneered by companies like Nippon Denso over in Japan, and it's all about maximizing how effective your equipment is. And the secret sauce? Getting everyone involved, from the CEO down to the operators who are on the floor every single day. The goal? A state they call perfect production.
So what does perfect production actually look like? Well, you can pretty much define it with a single, incredibly ambitious number. This one, 0. First up, the goal is 0 breakdowns. This flies in the face of the old idea that, machines just break sometimes. TPM says, no way. With the right care and the right operation, we can eliminate all unplanned stoppages.
Second, 0 defects. This is huge. It connects the health of the machine directly to the quality of the thing you're making. The idea is to get your equipment running so perfectly that it's physically impossible for it to produce a bad part. Quality isn't something you inspect for at the end. It's something you build in from the very start.
And finally, 0 accidents. This takes that whole philosophy of prevention and applies it to our most important asset, our people. Because a well-maintained, clean, organized workplace is just an inherently safer workplace. An unsafe condition is really just another type of defect that we need to eliminate.
Okay, so those 3 zeros, that's the destination. Sounds great, but you can't build a skyscraper on a foundation of quicksand. Before you can even think about chasing perfection, you have to create order out of chaos. And for TPM, that foundation has a name, 5S.
5S is this beautifully simple yet super powerful system for organizing a workspace. First, you sort, get rid of all the junk you don't need. Then, you set in order everything that's left so there's a perfect home for everything. Next is shine, which is all about cleaning. Then you standardize the rules so it doesn't get messy again. And finally, you sustain the whole system so it becomes a lifelong habit. Now that third step, shine, might sound simple, but this is where the real magic happens. It's because of this one crucial concept. Cleaning is inspection. Think about it. When an operator is physically wiping down their machine, they're forced to look at it, to touch it. They see things that are normally hidden by grease and grime, a tiny oil leak, a loose bolt, a frayed wire, a small crack forming. This is your first line of defense against a major breakdown.
So once that 5S foundation is solid, once we have order, we can start building the actual structure of TPM. And that structure is held up by 8 very distinct but interconnected pillars.
Now, we're not going to do a deep dive on all 8 of these right now, but just take a look. You can see how complete this system is. It covers everything from operator-led maintenance and specialized technicians' tasks, all the way to quality, safety, training. It even extends these principles into the office. It really is a total system. Let's just focus on the 2 pillars that really form the core partnership of TPM. On one hand, you have autonomous maintenance. This is a revolutionary idea. It says operators are no longer just button pushers, they become equipment owners, responsible for daily care like cleaning, lubricating, and basic inspections. This one shift is huge because it frees up your highly skilled maintenance techs to focus on planned maintenance, the really high-level proactive work like predictive analysis and strategic overhauls that prevent failures from ever happening in the first place.
So we're doing all this work, we're building this new culture, but how do we know if it's actually working? I mean, are we just feeling good, or are we actually getting good? We need a report card, and in the world of TPM, that report card has a name: OEE.
OEE stands for Overall Equipment Effectiveness, and it's a beautiful metric because it asks a really simple question. Of all the time we planned to be making stuff, what percentage of that time were we actually making good stuff as fast as we possibly could? It's a simple calculation. You just multiply your availability score times your performance score times your quality score.
The way OEE works is it forces you to look at all of your lost productivity and put it into three big buckets. Availability asks, was the machine running when it was supposed to be? That catches all your downtime. Performance asks, was it running as fast as it's designed to? That catches all your speed losses. And quality asks, of the parts it made, how many were good? That catches all your defects. It's one score that tells you exactly where you're bleeding productivity.
And OEE connects those big ideas to the real world through what's known as the 6 big losses. Things like major breakdowns, well, they kill your availability score. Little things like minor stops or running slow, that hurts your performance. And of course, making scrap parts destroys your quality score. OEE gives you a perfect framework to see and attack every single thing that steals time and money from you.
So what's a good score? Well, 100% OEE is perfect production. That's the theoretical ideal we're shooting for. The reality? A lot of companies are probably running somewhere around 60%, maybe even less. But true world-class performance, that's widely considered to be 85% or higher. And that gap between 60 and 85%, that is pure untapped potential.
You know, at the end of the day, after all the charts and the metrics and the pillars, the real transformation of TPM isn't technical at all. It's cultural. It's about shifting away from a culture of blame and reaction to one of shared responsibility and empowerment. It's about creating a team where every single person, from top to bottom, feels a true sense of ownership for the equipment they use and the quality of the work they produce. So I'll leave you with this one question to think about. Look around your own world, your own workplace. Watch how people interact with the tools and the machines. And ask yourself, is your organization just running its equipment, or is it truly owning it? Because the difference between those two words, that's everything.